from last week for the throngs of fans who have been waiting since
Yeah.
Monday. Hey everybody, let's wait for the applause to die down. Just a second.
Yep. Calm down. We're just human.
Yeah. Jeez, come on, guys. Okay, let's see if it's live. Turn off the sound. I see what the in the chat. Oh man, how did I get fat and old? It's so crazy to see myself from the side. That used to be my good side. I know how the girls on Instagram feel. I'm like ready to go get fucking lip injections after seeing that.
Right.
So yeah, I was just saying to Chris before we got on the call, and this will become relevant, that I should do it like this. I should stream like this because then I'm like the girls on profile pictures where the fat girls take the photo like this so that you don't see. I mean, you still see the boobs. So let's see if I can go like. Kidding that? This is already a problem. No, yeah. So if I. Hey Chris.
You're gonna get them now, man. That's it.
That's just enough. In case there's any sugar daddies watching, want to get me a DSLR. All right. Or a gym membership. Anyway. Or some anti-aging medication, whatever it is. Okay, so welcome, Chris. So we've been more consistent than we were in the past with these. So this is good. 1 week. Here we are. So today we're going to be a little more focused, and then I think next week we'll talk about the back rooms. We'll do we'll go a little deeper dive into the backroom stuff because since we rambled on about it for a couple hours last week, you're going to see the movie tomorrow, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is it tomorrow? Yeah. So we'll leave that
$5 Tuesday, free popcorn day, baby.
Ooh, nice. I had a full what do you call it, like a movie club card from 4 years ago that I just kept saving, and you could barely see the stamps on it. But if you went to the movies 8 times, you get a free movie. So I pulled it out, and the guy scoffed, like he was like, and then he looked close and saw all the stamps, and he's like, and accepted it. So I saw the back rooms for free.
Nice.
Yeah. I would have paid though. It was well worth it. Anyway, we'll deal with that next week. A lot of interesting connections, and I think it'll be. Well, look, we have a hardcore fan here. I can't read the chat on here because again, I'm old now.
Say hello, hi guys. Hey, Muhammad.
Uh-oh. Hey, Muhammad, how you doing, buddy? I can see it now. I brought it up on the computer screen in giant font. Can you still hear me if I sit back here?
I can.
Well, there's Manashdas and Muhammad. We're probably going to ignore the chat, but if you guys have questions as we go, we'll deal with it. At the end we can scroll back. But hey, guys or gals and gals. So I titled the stream "The Main Disease Killing Men in Modernity: Learned Helplessness."
I pulled up the definition.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
Because why not? Learned helplessness is a psychological state where an individual continuously faces uncontrollable negative situations and eventually stops trying to change their circumstances even when opportunities arise. Rooted in past failures or trauma, it breeds apathy, passivity, and the belief that personal actions don't matter. It was coined by Martin Seligman in 1967 and Stephen Meyer during animal experiments. Subjects subjected to unavoidable stressors later fail to escape when given the chance, simply accepting the pain. Okay, I remember hearing about that idea.
Ooh, dude, that's excellent. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's the key part is you open the door of the cage and they won't walk out.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly the perfect image of it, right?
Yeah, and fuck that guy for doing animal experiments. By the way, I think that's sick. Like
Even
it
on
got
mice?
bad with Skinner boxes when they were putting human babies in there. You know about that?
No.
B.F. Skinner.
He used babies. Oh yeah, he did use babies because I remember the baby, like Baby George or some crazy baby name back
Yeah,
in the
they
day.
later he would later he changed his name later to Jeffrey Dahmer because that's what happens when you do that to kids. No. One second, we got
All
my
right.
headphones just to make sure there's not an echo thing going on. I can hear you though. Yeah, so let me throw this on.
Humans internalize these experiences differently. Individuals who believe failures are global, ruins everything, stable, will never change, and internal, it's all their fault, are more prone to learned helplessness. Okay.
Hold on, I gotta grab a different hat because he's fuck it. I'll just go hair. Go hair. Okay. Say again that last part. Sorry.
So, well, it's attributional styles. Humans internalize these experiences differently. Individuals who believe failures are global, ruins everything, stable, will never change, and internal, it's all their fault, are more prone to learned helplessness. So, global means ruins everything, stable, will never change, and internal, it's all their fault. Are just three attributional styles. It's what it's called. So there's a whole psychological framework, obviously, here around this this idea of learned helplessness.
Yeah. So let's just start by each sharing. We can trade off and share some. Let's start by talking about our. And for those of you watching, by the end of this, we're going to give you some what Chris and I call the easy way. Now we have the easy way to do all kinds of things. So the easy way out of back pain, the easy way to overcome social anxiety, the easy way, anything. Okay. But for now, we're going to share with you by the end the easy way out of learned helplessness, or easy ways out of learned helplessness. But for now, Chris, let's go into the mud. Let's go into the proverbial back rooms of learned helplessness and just share about our own experiences throughout our life. So why don't we each share one? You share one. I'll share one. You share one. I'll share one. Let's get real dark and deep. Don't say how you got out of it yet, though. Does that sound good to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You go first.
So go ahead and you want to go first? Yeah.
You.
Me? I go first. I'm afraid to go first, bro.
Me too.
I mean, there's nothing I
I'm
can gain by
helpless.
going first. It's not going to change anything, man. If I go first, it's like I'll still be a loser. I mean,
Still
I'm
stuck
gonna. We should probably stop the stream. I mean, nobody's really gonna. These dudes are talking about how it's raining in Colorado. I mean, somebody sent an audio message in the chat. We're gonna have to ignore the chat. So sorry, chat. But if I see like a question that blows my mind out of the corner of my eye, I'll address it. But otherwise, chat, you're on your own for right now. Okay, I'll start, Chris. It's because I feel bad for you. Oh man. So okay, here's a really nice example. I used to be married, and well, let me say one aspect of learned helplessness is that you even if you it's not that you've been a loser your whole life and then you say, oh, I can't do anything. That's a different condition. It's like you actually have been capable of doing things and you've done them before, and then you work yourself into a psychological state where you think you're not capable of doing things. So that's a key distinction, because there could be someone who's a total loser and they've never actually accomplished anything. So that's different than learned helplessness. You know what I mean? So in this case, I've been doing business. I've hitchhiked the world. I've done travel. I've lived by myself. I've moved all around. I've created a musical play. I've done my own projects, masterminded things. So, and then I was married. We got divorced. I was living in this house for like a year after that I had rented for the two of us. So I was stubborn. I'm gonna live out this lease, and it was like I was living in the. It's like I was living in the sarcophagus of the marriage. After she left, I just stayed. And so all the furniture, all the stuff, and she lived in the same town. So, so yeah. Then at one point, like I was just like, I had this car that was ready to break down at any moment, and I was doing enough to get by to keep everything going, but I wasn't really like excited or accomplishing anything. And I didn't even have. Not only did I not have any ideas of what to do, I didn't even. I didn't even have the like in the definition. I didn't even consider that there were options that I was not doing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's one thing to go, okay, like I'm down, I don't feel like doing anything, but at least I know there's things I can do, right? Oh, I could go for a bike ride. I could do this. I could buy another car. I could, you know what I mean? But I was just like, oh, I have this shitty car. What if it breaks down? Dude, you're in California. I could get a car for $100. You know what I mean? So even like, I couldn't even see that I could get my car fixed.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, oh, what if it breaks down? So uh, every aspect of my life had boiled down to this learned helplessness. I was buying like chips at the store to eat and like a beer or something. I didn't even cook food. And even if I was at the grocery store, it wouldn't occur to me that I know how to make steak or that even steak was there at the store that I was walking right past. So everything in my life had become representative of this learned helplessness. I was just kind of like shambling. Like Daniel Higgs said, take your life out of the coffin if that's the condition your mind is in. That was the condition my mind was in. And at one point, she called me into town, my ex, even of all people, and she said, and God bless her. She said, "Hey, man, I just got to tell you." She said, "Hey, can you come to town? I want to meet you. Meet me at this studio, this art studio we used to work at, volunteer at. Come to the studio." Okay, cool. She's like, "You're not doing good, dude." And I was like, "Really?" And when she said it, I was like, oh shit. And she would know. I mean, had just previously been with her for over 5 years prior to that. She's like, "You're not doing good. What's going on?" And I don't know. I'm fine. I'm fine. She's like, "You got some money and stuff, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, fine. Everything's fine." Uh, she's like, dude, you need to go travel. Why don't you just like go travel for like 3 months? Because the American visa, I mean, you can go almost anywhere for 3 months without visa, without anything. She said, "Why don't you just
Right.
travel, dude?" And suddenly, just her telling me that, I was suddenly like, holy shit, man, why don't I actually go travel? This is crazy. So let's say that was a January of 2018, and I just started, but it exploded in my mind. And I was like, holy shit. And I started looking on Airbnb and looking at maps of the world. And in California, I knew people from like every country. It was all over the place. So a girl from Greece was like, go to Greece. And a woman I knew from Russia, a beautiful woman, she said, go to Russia, and everybody. Now that's not as easy as going to Greece, let me tell you. But yeah, so I decided on Greece, and there was this whole series of events, and I actually ended up in Osijek, Croatia, and that's where I live now. So almost a year of living in that kind of condition, and not like it wasn't like the worst year of my life, but it was like a slow decline, and I didn't even notice that it was a decline. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first, maybe one of the biggest examples of learned helplessness that I've had in my life. And
How does
I was going to say, I shouldn't have said how I got out of it, but okay, that's fine. We'll go organic here. But what were you going to ask?
how does that relate to like self-abandonment and trauma? Like how does that happen? Is there a difference between, let's say, somebody who it's like in the experiment where the term comes from, it's about that they failed so many times early on that now they see the open, they can't even see. It's like there's blinders on now, right? There was blinders on for you where you couldn't even see other opportunities for whatever reason. Like how does that happen?
I'm not sure the how is an important question.
Yeah.
Question. Why did I say question? Because we're Wiggers.
Guess we're Wiggers, dog.
That's why. I'm sure that's an important question for you to
Okay.
ask.
Uh-huh.
No, but no, I mean, I spent a lot of years on the how stuff. Is it an important question? I mean, let's not do too much meta. I'm sorry. It's like,
Happens to everyone, so it doesn't matter how. It's just a part of the human
yeah, this is
condition.
what I mean. Is that the thing is, I think I could speculate. I even have a speculum, but I don't know. I don't know that that's I don't know if I'm correct. If I could throw something, I could throw out 5 different things that sound really good.
Right.
From the Orthodox perspective, I'd say it happens because there's no proper telos. So let me compare it to a current state of darkness. I go in and out of as Fritz Perls would say, I go in and out of the garbage pail multiple times a day at this point, And over the last year, since my visiting my dad and then my dad dying, I don't know that I would call that learned helplessness, but in the context of that, I knew that I was going down some dark roads inside my mind and in my life, drinking heavily and all this kind of stuff. But I never lost track that I had options, and because I had a proper telos, And for the folks at home, Chris, will you explain what a telos is?
I mean, I guess I would
Just
say
simple, just simple, no deep theology,
Yeah. I mean, your orientation, in some sense, your
So let's say
meaning.
it's kind of like your end, like your ultimate aim or your ultimate
Your
goal.
ultimate aim. Yeah,
Is that accurate?
I think so.
Okay. So I had no ultimate aim that was guiding my life from which to measure my current circumstances.
Right.
So I say, if to answer the how I've learned helplessness is, if prior to the condition you don't have an aim plus a support network, people who you're talking to and confessing to. Let's even take it out of the Orthodox perspective. Let's just say people that you share. Hey, man, I feel like if I call you and I talk to each other almost every day. I write you if I'm feeling fucked up. I send you a message. I say, dude, oh fuck, this happened. This feels so weird. And now, just that I shared it with one other person, you reflect it back, or we tell a joke, and then, let's say we have the telos of doing a live stream every Monday. If I know that's coming up, it doesn't matter if I'm down, if I'm up, if I'm having a difficult time, if I'm sick or if I'm not sick. If I know that we're going to do a stream on Monday, then, like before today, I didn't know that we could go live this way on the phone. I knew about it, but I didn't know how to do it. This is just a tiny little example. But whether we felt like doing the stream or not, that's our aim. And so if we're going to be men and live up to our aim in our agreement with each other and to the people at home, folks at home, the throngs, the hordes, then that pulls us through. It can drag you through whatever mud you fall into. If you don't have a telos, if the only telos is making enough money to pay the rent, which was what I was stuck in back in California in that example I gave, there was nothing to pull me out. There was no reason to get out. There was no reason to think of options. And then with the repeated day after day after day of not thinking of options, I just sunk into the morass, and all I did was enough to keep my current circumstances afloat.
Or if your telos is wrong, or you put all your eggs in one basket.
So let's say the telos was the marriage itself. This is a huge thing. This is what destroys marriages, is if the highest aim is just the relationship itself. There's no reason to not fight, for example. Let's say husband and wife run a theater company and they're doing one big show a month. And so that's what they do. That's their work. They started it together. They have to do this theater company, and one is a director, let's say, and one is the back end, like finances and marketing, just for the sake of the example. And they have an argument, or the kids are fucking up or something. They start to have an argument, and then the guy's like, hold on a second. Let's do this later, because tonight I got to call Auntie Bob and get him lined up for the show. And you've got to handle the marketing stuff. Let's table this till Saturday, and then we'll talk about it. We'll deal with it, okay? So they always have a way there's always something more important than the minutia of day-to-day life and the arguments. So the telos of the theater company, which they both love, which supports them, which supports their family, then when they get to Saturday, they don't even remember what the issue is, or if it's a bigger issue, they're no longer inflamed with upset of the argument. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So for most people, the relationship is like, well, for one thing, people treat each other like a paper cup or a plastic cup that you just throw away and then get another one. But even deeper than that, yeah, without say you do make it to marriage, then there's no reason to. There's nothing that gets you. There's no higher aim that pulls you through the argument.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's slow down and let's have Chris give an example. And
Yeah. One thing I want to say first is so telos. Did you know that's the word in the Bible that Christ uses when he says, "You shall be made perfect like my Father is perfect in heaven"? The word in place of perfect is telos or teleos. So it implies that it's simultaneously your ultimate aim is perfection, but also like fulfillment of your design. So like the fullness of your telos, not only your purpose, your meaning, but perfection. You see how those connected? It's interesting connection there.
that is interesting. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So that's my speculation about how it occurs, because there's nothing to pull you through when you get into the inevitable back rooms, the darkness, the corners, the dark corners, the vagaries of feelings and reactions and situations and circumstances.
Yeah. And then you have no way to give meaning to your suffering. So then you just fall into that learned helplessness. Despair is where it would ultimately end, right?
Hey, remember the Phantom Toll Booth? Did you ever see that?
What is it?
It's like a cartoon.
What's it called?
The Phantom Toll Booth.
The Phantom Toll Booth. Sounds familiar, but I can't recall it now.
Because they go to this place called the Doldrums, and I thought I think the word became a word because of the Phantom Toll Booth. Just type in Doldrums and see if it gives you an image. I'll do the same. Doldrums. Oh, there's a nautical sense too. Wow, interesting word. Okay. Doldrums has two main meanings: a meteorological region of calm, unreliable winds near the equator at sea. Isn't that amazing? Unreliable winds. In a figurative state of low mood, stagnation, or lack of activity. Now let's see if the word actually came from. Aha! The Doldrums appears as a fictional place of boredom and stagnation in Norton Juster's novel, The Phantom Toll Booth. But there was also a cartoon. The word is also used in music and pop culture, band names, album titles, song titles, again, invoking themes of stasis, melancholy, or dreamy drift. Wow, what a nice word, eh?
Yeah. Period where business or progress is stagnant and nothing new is happening. Yeah.
Type in just so you can see Doldrums Phantom Toll Booth to see how they depicted it. It's really cool. Yeah, dude. Oh, look at it. It's all like and if you get a chance, watch Phantom Toll Booth with your kids, dude, and anyone watching the stream right now too. It's I'm gonna probably watch it tonight, man. Now I remember, it's so good. Look at it, it's all sticky, and they're trying to drive through it, and the car is like, it's all green, sticky, like mucus-looking slime, and the car is just being eaten by it as they try to drive through. Did you get an image of it?
Yeah. Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, I used to love Hanna-Barbera. Grape Ape. You know what's so funny is I knew a guy who did a lot of their animation for Hanna-Barbera, Lynn Larson. God rest his soul. He died just a couple of years ago. So he may have done these drawings. There's like these little creatures and stuff. It's funny because one of the pictures is the guy in the car just chilling, doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Dude, we can stay here forever, bro. And even the slime has a face. It talks to you. Yeah. So anyway, the Doldrums is kind of where men end up without a proper telos.
The mucus. The way of the mucus. Well, it's funny because they discovered how much mucus has to do with like illness and depression and things like that. So a good 3-day fast might pull you out of a learned helplessness state.
Well,
Anyway,
shout out to Snake Diet and Cole Robinson for the salt water. Yeah. All right, Chris,
For
let us
me,
have it. Or are you in the doldrums right now?
I'm still in. That's the thing. I'm still finding my way out. So I'm like, I'm speaking from inside the swamp right now. Maybe that's helpful for somebody more than yeah, I'm here too. You know, the biggest, really the biggest, where that came into full view, where I could say like, oh, I even understand what that term means, has been in the last few years after kind of everything collapsing in my life, and then falling into that depression state. I was never one inclined to depression or despair. I was always like naively optimistic. And then so when I finally kind of collapsed and had to face all the dark emotions that I hadn't dealt with for so long, it was like from the outside my life was not terrible, but from my perspective I was in hell, right? So there's this disconnect between like what reality actually is.
Slow down, zoom out. Give us for the folks at home.
Yeah.
Set the stage. You know what I mean? Describe like where were you? What's going on? You know what I mean? Set the stage.
Yeah.
Give us the settings, and then the story.
The setting is the last few months of a 3-year psychedelic therapy training that I dropped out of a few months before it was over because I essentially had a nervous breakdown for multiple reasons and couldn't keep a job, had to quit my job, ended up doing like DoorDash, like just the easiest things I could manage because I just couldn't stick to a 9-to-5 situation. So like my whole dream collapsed, my career collapsed, any clients I had, just everything just kind of fell apart. This was on the way to becoming orthodox. So that's the stage was for me. It wasn't about a relationship. It was career based and what to do next. This whole idea I had about where my future was headed just kind of collapsed, which is a whole story in and of itself. Where the learned helplessness comes in at is like there were so many other opportunities around me, but not the ones that I was counting on. The coaching business and psychedelic therapy, which I put up in this kind of pedestal and then realized kind of the whole scene was kind of diluted. And so, yeah, it was just a major kind of bubble that burst. And I was riding this high for so long that when it popped, it was like I was in the doldrums for sure. Depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. You said we're not going to say how we got out or how I'm getting out or how I've been getting out.
Yeah, let's just kind of like look back over our lives. Let's do a little bit of recapitulation. I mean, this is going to be good for us anyway.
Yeah.
But let's just kind of let's go up until I told how I got out of the other one, but let's just dig back and try and chart some learned helplessness for a little while. And folks in the chat, if you had some experiences with learned helplessness, go ahead and share. But let's leave the how we get out from the end, and then we can maybe find a pattern in each of these situations. You know what I mean? For a recipe for getting out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just about to say how I started to get out or what I had to realize. That's how I started to see this term, and it would shine to me. I was like, oh, learned helplessness. There's a pattern here in my own life of kind of collapsing when things get difficult. Even though I'd done so many difficult things, um, you know, relatively difficult things for that most people would agree, and yet this thing just took the wind out. It was, and it has to do with money, has to do with taking care of my family, has to do with all the things that it takes being a man, um, and sacrifice and all these things. Because so much of the journey I was on was more about indulgence, and I learned a lot, I did a lot of things, but it wasn't. It was impractical. It was idealism. It was just not connected to reality. So when kind of reality showed itself and all the material things that I've been avoiding, that just so this is it's almost more of spiritual bypassing example than learned helplessness. The story that I'm and hold on one second.
Oh man, it's going crazy over there. Shut those kids up.
Shut those damn kids up.
Shut those kids up. Is there a man in the home, Chris?
Exactly. A
No,
helpless one.
helpless one. No, did you have a father? Did you have a father's presence in your house
No,
growing up?
and that's what I recognized. I was like, oh wow, I'm running against the same barrier that I see with my dad, who is the image of learned helplessness, just kind of sad and passive, and yet it's ironic because he had a third degree black belt in taekwondo and kind of strong tough guy, but when it came to actual making changes in the world, just a
Yeah,
complete utter you know there nothing in him thought he could actually change his circumstances. Just a complete utter lack of self-belief in any entrepreneurial way or
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, dude. Luckily, what did you know your dad, or he was just not in the house, or did he die? What happened?
No, I saw him on the weekends.
Ah,
um so they never got married. Family never got married. Their parents never got married. I saw him on the weekends, every weekend, and he was like a big brother who I realized I was more intelligent than at like age 8. So it was like he didn't even try to discipline me or father me. It was just like we had, we went to the mall. We went to the mall. We worked out. We watched movies. You know,
oh, you
but there
mentioned that the
was
workout. Yeah, I remember now. You're saying that you. I'm playing dumb a little bit for the folks at home, but
yeah, yeah,
also I remember you got the workout thing from him. My dad was also not there. I took the time to understand why, and on a certain level, it was kind of like what Jesse Lee Peterson talks about. Like he couldn't put up with the hell of my mom, so he
yep,
never left us kids, but he left my mother. But as a result, we were the collateral damage. And I would see him. Now I've since put those pieces back together. I was lucky enough to be able to have like endless amounts of phone calls with him, where we patched all this together. And I realized he was there all the time in the background and stepping away deliberately. When I talked to him, he told me his frame of mind and his thought process, and he said all I could do was just hope that one day when you got older we would reconnect, and we have now. This kind of thing. Thank God for that, but not everyone gets that, and not every man has the wherewithal to actually consciously do that kind of thing. But I realized that it actually broke him to do that. But my mom was making such hell for him to every time to pick us up on the weekends that then it became once every 2 weeks. Then it became once a month, once a month, and then it became like, occasionally I go work with him in the summers and stuff. So I got to learn electrical wiring and what it's like to be on a job site and to be comfortable on a job site. So I got so many things that he was deliberately giving me, but I thought he had abandoned me. That's how I perceived it because that's how the rest of the family represented it. You know,
hmm, right,
so it's kind of like equal to abandonment, whether it was deliberate or not. The net result of it was a sense of learned helplessness that played out
yes,
over and over and over. So that's probably one key is the lack of presence of fathers in the homes, and that's also why you and I probably both became serial killers, because that's what they all have in common.
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So that's kind of what I meant when I said, how do you think this happens? And that's what I had in the back of my mind, like lack of father abandonment, lack of just giving. The father gives you that direction and that like outgoing, right? The mother like protects and the father kind of pushes you. Okay. And if, we didn't have that initiation.
She's like, hey, come here, but you should go out to the world. No, wait, come back. No, but you should go out to the world. But no, wait, come back. And the mother's she's all fried. And we're not talking about blame here. We're talking about occurrences and tendencies. But I wanted to share some of my vast and impressive knowledge, if I may, about the tarot cards. Because there was some of these, when I went into deep study about them, and I don't recommend this, but I don't,
that was my jam too. Tarot cards were my jam, so we could talk about tarot cards.
Yeah. So this is how the demons try to get me to keep buying tarot decks. Is like, wait, no. I remember telling myself, no. But see, I could use them just like they're supposed to be used, like a map of the psyche, And it's like, no, Garrett, no. Every time they want to get back in my life, But
that's the one thing I was like, can't they be baptized? Can't you just be like Christ is the magician and the Hierophant, and can't you just put Christ in and we're good? Right?
Is there a way, it'd be better for us, rather than seeking tarot cards, than to like try to find a contagious strain of Down syndrome, But anyway, but I used to love I had a good friend, David Jones, God rest his soul as well. He's not Davy Jones. He's not resting at the bottom of the sea, but he is resting under some dirt somewhere in Oregon. So God rest his soul as well. Semi-famous underground occultist guy, but a great friend of mine for a certain period. He showed me how you can lay out all the cards as a calendar, and then as the ridiculous but interesting at the time Kabbalistic tree of life and all this kind of stuff. And then from there, also that there's like this flow from the aces all the way to the tens.
Mm-hmm.
So ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the folks at home who don't know how to count. So the ace is the origin of that. Of the ace is like the platonic solid, as it were, of the element.
Yep.
So you have the ace of cups, which is like the essence of water and all the emotions, all this kind of shit. This isn't about the tarot cards. This is just about me showing off my vast knowledge. But anyway, so then when you look at transitions, the specific one that came to mind, because I've done this dance, and I think you'll relate to this, Chris, was between the the 6 of cups, which is the allure. The 6 of cups is so pretty, right? The allure of the 6 of cups, which what is 6 of cups again? Can you remind me? In Crowley's deck.
Is it pleasure? No.
It is pleasure, I believe. Yeah. Let me check. Just to make sure. Yes, you nailed it. And it's a beautiful card. The 6s are all balanced,
Yep.
But the trick is you can see the hints of the doldrums, even in the colors used in the 6 of cups.
Yeah.
Because the pleasure, and at the time I thought, the 6 is it's really positive. There's no, in that worldview, in the Gnostic worldview, which is a retarded and heretical and broken worldview. But in that worldview, it was like I saw the 6 of cups, like, oh, this is great. It's all balanced. It's beautiful, pleasure. Yeah. But you go too far into pleasure and it leads you to the 7 of cups, because the idea is that this just plays out in a loop over and over, a strange loop. This is going to be important in the back rooms next week. We're going to talk about the Gnostic wound and basically the telos of Gnosticism, and how it always leads you, how the whole time you're in the doldrums. You don't even know that you're not. You don't even know that there's something outside of the doldrums, to the point where if you think you're in the doldrums when you're in the Gnostic worldview, it's like the doldrums of the doldrums. You know what I mean? Which is like, man, that's fucking dark. But anyway, and you're still going to buy another book, you know. So that's a preview for next week. So you do too much pleasure, and then it leads you to the Seven of Cups, which is imbalanced again, and that's debauch.
Debauchery, baby.
You know about debauch, Chris?
I'm familiar. Yeah, a little bit.
Now, can you enlighten the audience about debauch?
What debauchery means?
No, debauch itself. Yeah, because the card is called debauch.
It's not debauchery.
Do you like that? Do you like that word?
Debauch?
Yeah.
Actually, it's a harsh word, debauch. It's debauch, yeah.
You're like doldrums, debauch.
D's, you see the D's in common, which is the door, the Empress, right?
We're about to get into word concept fallacy territory right there.
Yeah.
Do you want to just give us a definition of debauch?
The definition would be, how could I say the definition? It would be, I mean, I could give you examples better than the
Oxford or Webster's maybe, and then give your example. Let's start where it starts.
I mean, cocaine and prostitutes would be a good example of debaucherous pleasure.
Yeah. You know, like yeah. Ecstasy and ex-girlfriends.
the corruption or destruction of someone's morals, principles, or virtues. Okay, so I was giving the actions that cause the debauch, but the debauch itself is the corruption of your morals, principles, or virtues, often through excessive indulgence. So debauchery, indulgence in sensual pleasures, I guess, is how you would define debauchery. So pleasure.
Yeah, so pleasure itself. Yeah, so pleasure itself, you keep pursuing it, and then you no longer even get access to the reason you were seeking the pleasure, because you're in debauch, which is I didn't even know about the moral aspect of the definition. Isn't that interesting? You forget about your telos.
Yeah, no, you're right, because I was going to say something different. I was like, oh yeah, it's obvious now that I read it, but
I didn't know that was the aspect. I didn't know about that aspect of the definition, actually.
Which part? The corruption of or destruction of someone's morals, principles, or?
Yeah, I just thought I have like a visceral sense of debauch.
That's what I was saying. Like when I hear debaucherous,
I think of again. Let's drink again.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
Right. Well, what I realize, and we can talk more about this in our work, is like the way out of. We can give a glimpse of that way out of the backroom is actually finding pleasure again from an internal sense. Like I realize, like you're chasing that pleasure is because you're actually numb and you need something extremely stimulating to even give you something. So when you chase that pleasure, right, you're numbing the inner sensorium where pleasure can even arise. Right?
So check it out. What happens from when you go? So now what you described is debauch, right? So we start with pleasure, which pleasure might have just been, you know, a good meal or whatever.
Right.
Or let's use your drug example. So you're doing the bananas and blow and you know, hot tubs and ladies and lady boys or wherever, you know, like when you're in Thailand. I think you told me about that. And no, no. So I'm sorry, dude. The fasting gets my brain working, you know, in these fun ways. So anyway, then you get to debauch, where you start having to take more and more and more, or drink more and more and more, and you're still trying to get back to that balanced state of the pleasure,
right?
And as you pursue the debauch further and further and further, it leads to the next one in the suits. Do you remember what the 8 was?
What is the 8? Indolence, right?
Yes, you're correct, sir. You're the correct, sir. So the
talk about who's got the vast knowledge here of tarot.
Thank you for calling
the real
service. You just swing your dick around right on my live stream. On my live stream. No. Look, you're the guest here. No.
Back up.
I'm kidding, dude.
I just pulled out an indolence card. Just
that would have been amazing. So, and your priest calls right in the back. Chris, what
did I tell you? I carry the 6, the 7, and the 8 on me at all times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenny Rogers just walks on through the screen, singing the Gambler. So when you're doing the debauch, theoretically, I don't know anything about this. I've lived a wholesome life. As you're doing the debauch, you're drinking more, you're doing more, you're more, because you need more, as you said, you need more and more and more to get there. And then you end up at indolence. So for the folks at home, why don't we find out more about indolence, Chris?
Indolence. I think I have my own understanding.
Yeah, say what you think it is, and then let's see the
a kind of despair, and almost a kind of like the image I have is like a 14-year-old emo girl who just won't participate. It's there's
like a wallflower.
Yeah.
Like what is that Modest Mouse line? Looking kind of anxious in your cross-armed stance, like a bad-tempered prom queen at the homecoming dance. And I claim I'm not excited with my life anymore, so I blame this town, this job, these friends. The truth is, it's myself.
That's it.
Oh,
so yeah, this is exactly it. The disinclination to exert effort, like just a refusal to even try. So boom, we're at learned helplessness. Ooh. Habitual laziness, or the disinclination to exert. See, I told you guys we were going somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, indolence, literally learned helplessness in a sense, but the habitual laziness, disinclination to exert effort or work, describes a state of inactivity that is usually driven by a deep-seated love of ease rather than physical exhaustion. So did you see ennui, N-U-I? You know the word ennui? That might be another.
Ennui, I love that word, yeah. I like to use that word. It makes me seem smart.
Right. Well, there's a character in it's a Pixar movie. It's about all the emotions. It's actually really instructive in a way. And there's a character in there named Ennui. She's French and she's on her phone and she just is laying on the couch and she won't do anything. She's the image of indolence.
Ennui, yeah.
Ennui is boredom, but there's this. Obviously, you see the relationship between like ennui and boredom, and like I'm not going to even exert myself.
Yeah, and it's like once you hit indolence, read the definition one more time. I want to hear it clearly.
Indolence is a noun that means habitual laziness or the disinclination to exert effort or work.
Disinclination to exert effort or work.
Laziness.
So by that point,
idleness.
Yeah, but the disinclination to exert effort. So, and then, yeah. Now, when it becomes chronic, nine is interesting. It's happiness, and this is funny because a lot of the New Age fools and things, and a lot of people like the reason why the United States telos is falling apart is because pursuit of happiness is like one of the highest aims. That was a trap. Because pursuit of duty, they can never take away from us, dude. And my perpetual lack of discipline throughout my life, I was always afraid of discipline. And now that I'm learning about duty, when I actually am doing my duty as a man, it's like the best fucking thing ever. It's like, and no one can take it from you. It's the only thing that can never be taken from us. You know?
Right.
Our rights can go away. So the happiness is like another part of the joke. The happiness is another part of the Gnostic wound. And what's so fascinating, so when you arrive at this happiness, a lot of people think that that's the goal. and they're victims. They're self-victimizing because they think that happiness is something that you have to find from outside. So once you're in indolence, then you're satisfied with the most mediocre of a life.
It's funny because 6 pleasure, then happiness after addiction is like then happiness. Yeah, that's a weird.
Isn't that
That's
interesting?
it is. Um,
And what you get to with 10 is then satiety. So let's go ahead and one more time, Chris. Warm it up. Warm it up, Chris.
Satiated is just full.
No, hold on.
But
Hold on. You're supposed to say I'm about to. Let's try that. Warm. I thought you were a winger. Warm it up, Chris.
yeah, I'm finna do that. Hold up, cuz.
Warm it up, Chris, because that's what he was born to do. Okay.
I'm about
satiety.
Satiated is full, but in the negative, full. Just when you eat to satiation, you're stuffed. You fill yourself to the point of, yeah, right. Let's look it up. Satiated means to be completely It means to be completely satisfied or filled to the point where no more is desired. So it is
right, but no more is desired. You see, so it's again a doldrum.
Yeah.
And now think about that, because then the Buddhists think that ridding oneself of desire, that desire is the cause of suffering, and that ridding yourself of desire and all this non-attachment and stuff is the actual aim, but that ends you square back in the doldrums. So the aim is the doldrums itself, but with a sense of not caring about being in the doldrums.
Is there a positive? Can you be satiated in where you're satisfied, where there's a healthy a healthy satiation?
Well, this is where the cycle would loop back to the essence of water again, back to the ace.
And that's the only thing that can actually satisfy you, not in the cups. So you actually only satisfaction can come at the level of the cups, or at the aces.
The platonic solid itself. Yeah, the root of the powers of water. So it's the grail. It's the grail itself.
Right. Right, which is Christ, which is the Holy Spirit, or.
So that's a new beginning. So you always go back to the grail, and that represents again the entire a coherent telos. The ace is complete in itself, and in essence contains within it that the entire cycle. But it is also the end of the infinite regress of the cycle. It's the end of the strange loop. The beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. We're not gonna. We don't need to get Protestant on the people though, Chris. So I'll ask you to stop. No. Came to the world at a time when it was in need of a villain, an asshole. That role think I succeeded fulfilling. All right.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
I think let's take a short break and do some jokes. So let's take a short break for some jokes, and then we'll come back to like how to actually get out of the doldrums, not using all this fun metaphor and stuff. Although actually, Chris, I got to say, this is some really nice territory that we can go into more. This kind of stuff with the cards, because that was a huge part of my life for like 3 or 4 years, and I think
me too.
Actually. Doing it this way it's kind of redeeming that study right now. I started to feel it as we were doing this discussion. This is nice.
I think it really can be instructive, like in that way.
Not that I'm going to use the cards, but we can. It's like Peugeot style. You know what I mean? Like Martin Shaw style. Like all the symbols are available to us to discuss. There's no reason to shun our knowledge.
We know what we know, so yeah.
Yeah. So let's. I'm going to go to. The web. I'm going to send you. I'm not going to reveal our sources here, like a good journalist, but I'm going to send you a link here, and we can. Let's just take the break for some jokes, and then we'll go to the second half of the show, and give practical, physical ways out of the doldrums. And you're going to need to get out of the doldrums over and over and over again. As far as I can tell, I'm 48. Um, I think the idea is like a Sisyphean. Is that how you would say it?
Sisyphus?
Sisyphean. A Sisyphean task is that you
Oh, the guy who pushes the boulder up over.
you embrace your duties, and it doesn't matter how many times you push the boulder up and down again. You're just excited that you have another day to wake up and push the boulder up again. The way I described that in an email I sent to the list. By the way, subscribe, radicalandoing.com. Go follow Chris at what's the Substack, Chris?
It's light material at the moment. Light material.
Light material, and that's what is the blog? What is the
address? At Rewoven. What is it? No, that's my YouTube. Rewoven25. The blog is light material. My name and light material. Yeah.
No, what is the link that people type into their browser bar to get there?
Substack.com/
I'll find it for the people.
Light
Chris,
material.
this is learned helplessness in action. Are you pulling my leg?
No, it is just my name. It is just my name. Chris Lamana 1.
Let me see. Substack.com. Chris Lamana. Light material. I like that name. Chris, I like the name Chris. No. Light material. Becoming Human Substack. It's becominghuman25.substack.com.
There you go. It's that.
Chris, can I give you a friendly suggestion?
Please.
Memorize that URL.
I thought that might be here.
Okay. So but let's repeat that. Becoming Human 25. I like that also. That's cool. It's funny because mine is like training mutants and yours is becoming human, but we're both teaching kind of the same stuff and it works.
Right.
So mine is radicalandoing.com. Make sure you go there and get on the email list because that's where all the cool stuff happens. But the email I was going to refer to that I sent out before the commercial break there was this email I was referencing. The title of it was problems I'd wish to have back if I was dying.
That's a good one.
And you know what the ultimate answer was what? Can you guess which problems I would wish that I'd have back if I was dying? It's a trick question, but
I thought it might be. I'm trying to think of what the obvious joke would be, but no. Go tell me.
All of my problems.
All of my problems.
Because problems are proof of life.
Right.
If I have life and I have a body and I have a mind to be able to consider something a problem, it means I'm actually capable of assessing my situation and actually solving the problem. And it just means that I'm alive. So I have the, you know what I mean? So I'm just, pissing all over myself, complaining about problems instead of climbing out of the learned helplessness and solving them. So yeah, if I was dying, I'd wish for all my problems back. They would become shining and gleaming and precious in my memories of them as I'm sitting on the desk.
How much of learned helplessness is just like a refusal to actually see where precisely you are?
Well, this is the strange thing, like what Robert Anton Wilson called the chapel perilous. I think it has some of that aspect where you don't know you're in the doldrums. You don't know, or the abyss, to use that metaphor, if we're playing around with this stuff. But when you take the oath of the abyss, part of it is that you don't know that you're in the abyss. Once you've taken the oath, you forget that the oath exists. It would be like in the movie A Dark Song, if there's a point where she forgets. Remember, she tries to leave the house.
Yeah.
she tries to leave the house because she thinks, oh, this is all bullshit. And the path leads her right back to the house. And she realizes, oh, fuck. And remembers that she took the oath. She can't leave till the ritual's complete. So the Chapel Perilous, Robert Anton Wilson, the doldrums, they lull you into this sleep that you don't. Not only do you have, so what are all the what are all the conditions that we identified before? The disinclination toward action, the so you might even make a life, like you said. There's whole what is it? Not genres. There's whole like types of people. There's whole what do you call that? A personality. What is like an emo kid? What is a hipster? What is it? What is the universal category of that I'm trying to
Stereotype.
describe? Not stereotype, but if you were choosing to be a cholo or a wigger or an emo kid, or
Oh,
like
a
what is a persona? There's you can adopt a persona that's so compelling from the inner dialogue, even starts to make you feel like you're cool for making your home in that part of the doldrums. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's even like coffee shops where other people who like the music, the soundtrack of that doldrum. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Like the goth, like the stereotype, the extreme example is like the goth kids on South Park. You remember them?
I wasn't big into South Park, but yes, vaguely.
So like, well, just imagine goth kids in real life and just
Sure.
extrapolate.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
they watch Donnie Darko over and over, and like they listen to like sad music. They won't even. They got pissed off when like Robert Smith from The Cure made a happy album. You know what I mean? Like they were like because it broke out of the frame of their chosen persona. So all the personas that are available are like you adopt a persona that then is filled with confirmation bias
Sure.
about, and then you think everybody else is an idiot for not being into the things that you're into.
Sure.
So you're doldrum. So like it can be cool for you to be like, well, I used to be a dancer, but dancing is for fucking idiots, dude. The world's falling apart. Why would I? Why would I ever do dancing again? That's stupid. And that person could
Almost
have been like a master ballerina or whatever.
in an even more just basic way, we could replace the word doldrum on one aspect of ideology then. And anybody who sees the world through an ideology doesn't see reality. They see everything is turned toward their
And this connects,
evil.
and you see how that this connects back to the lack of a coherent telos in a worldview. Lack of a coherent worldview leads you, ultimately, it always leads you back into the doldrums. It always brings you back into the back rooms. And that's not a neutral place. It's not a friendly place. It's eating you. The acidic mucus is eating the car in the Phantom Toll Booth example. And the kid's just sitting there like this, like just satiety. He's like, yeah, what do I care?
Is it anything more than simply having your ego as the center of everything you measure reality against?
Right. And so and then the pride and hubris of being like, I chose this worldview. That's another trick of the doldrums is you think that you chose that worldview, you chose that persona. It wasn't just an accidental, um, occurrence of like meeting the kid who was, meeting your, let's say, your best friend in fifth grade's older brother had Cure posters, for example, and now you guys grew up to become goth, and you forgot about why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably a big reason why people stay in it, because it takes a level of humility and kind of accepting you were deceived or you've been in a illusion in your life. You didn't even choose it. My dad,
Yeah, remember?
at
Go
60,
ahead.
he's
Sorry.
like, I feel like I never made any choice. Like life just happened to him, just a leaf in the wind. Everything was, we'll see, and tomorrow, and I don't know, and there was no deliberate choice. It was just a series of happenings.
Hmm.
That would be the sleeper. What is Gurdjieff's perspective on all this? I'm sure he has some cool words. for
I don't know if I want to indulge the
yeah,
Gurdjieff
no.
crowd, but I do find him useful. I have real love for Gurdjieff and his works.
Hank Williams Jr. called President Obama a Muslim who hates the U.S. Should we read this online? Or we're gonna get
Yeah, so let's have a break for this is the time in the stream when we do jokes. So Chris, why don't you go ahead and one idea is that you don't read ahead, but if you do read ahead, then give us some good delivery. You know what I mean? If you don't read ahead, your delivery can be forgiven. If you do read ahead, you will be judged on your delivery.
Gotcha. All right, this is live then. Hank Williams Jr. called President Obama a Muslim who hates the U.S. In response, President Obama said, "Why would I hate the U.S.? You guys made me president, and I wasn't even born here."
There's one for the folks who will remember.
I'm gonna put I don't get it. The next one. When I was a kid, I walked. Okay, you're going.
Yeah, we'll trade off. So China's government has reported that they've lost over 28,000 rivers in the past decade. My theory is that they sold it into the sordid world of underground river sex trafficking.
Okay. They're called norm jokes. Oh no. When I was a kid, I walked in on my parents having sex. It was the most embarrassing 30 minutes of my life.
Oh man, there's a theme. There's kind of a theme here. Okay. A New Mexico man was arrested for urinating on a family at a Metallica concert, or as Chris LaManna calls it, foreplay.
Okay. Yeah, especially at a concert. Some of the 200 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by extremists in Nigeria have been forced to marry their kidnappers. Worse than that, they've been forced to laugh at their husbands' stories even after hearing them for the umpteenth time. What?
Who wrote these? Okay.
With Carl Reiner. What is this?
Hold on. A Westchester parking enforcement officer stole $89,000 in quarters. How much laundry does this guy need to do?
I feel the same way about slaves as I do about shirts with flame patterns on them. I don't want to be friends with anyone who owns either of them.
That's true, right?
And it's true. That is true. Especially the flame pattern shirts, though. Slaves, I could maybe, but the flame pattern shirts, no way, dude. Are you serious?
Las Vegas is now home. Do you hear about this, Chris? Las Vegas is now home to a 550-foot tall Ferris wheel. Also drawing thousands to Las Vegas. Whores!
Good delivery. A group of crows is called a murder. A group of unicorns is called a blessing. And a group of cows is called my in-laws. I mean, okay.
Did you write that one?
Yeah, I wrote that one real quick. Just now. Oh, tough.
You know, there's no use. You heard that maxim, there's no use crying over spilled milk. Have you heard that before?
I've heard that one, yeah.
It's
been around.
There's no use crying over spilled milk or spilt milk, if you're British. There's no use crying over spilt milk unless the milk was spilt on your father's fresh corpse right before his funeral.
I mean, that would be no good. It was announced this week that the Archie comic books will kill off the character Archie in July. This is disappointing because if there's one Archie character that should die, it's that cocksucker Jughead.
I
don't
know,
that much
right?
about-
It's
I never got those comics. That's before my time. So you would get this one, Garrett. You probably had some Archie comic books.
I did have Archie comics. They had these digests,
There you
like
go.
and Jughead was it. I don't know if he literally sucked cock, but in the colloquial use of the term cocksucker, he did live into that.
I think
for
that's
sure.
what is meant. I think that's what is meant here.
You think it was for the folks at home? What is a cocksucker in colloquial terms, Chris?
An asshole.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's true. Yeah. So let's do one more each. Hold on here. I'm gonna write one real fast. So
This one is
Oh.
retarded.
A Papa John's delivery man has been arrested for allegedly selling more than $40,000 in cocaine hidden in pizza boxes to undercover police officers. Now, this raises an important question. Where's all that pizza that was supposed to go in those boxes? And can I have them to eat?
I mean, take everything you know about bread and throw it out the window. Now, let me tell you about this invention I made. Bread. What? And then why does it say with M. Night Shyamalan? What is that?
Don't worry, but I'll explain that after the stream. Don't worry about
Okay.
that. That's part of our little secret here.
Okay.
I'll do one more because you started, so
One more.
we'll end on Bill Clinton. You know Bill Clinton?
Oh yeah, I heard about him.
For people who don't know, can you just say who Bill Clinton is?
He's a pedophile.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. That's
a
in
well-known
colloquial sense.
pedophile.
In a colloquial sense. And I believe he had a big. He was kind of famous for being president. He was president of the U.S., I believe. It was either him or his wife. I don't remember.
Right.
And they both. I mean, they partly. I think why they stayed together is they both shared the same proclivities. But that's for another time. Bill Clinton says he wouldn't be surprised if someday we are visited by aliens from outer space. It's kind of timely, right? With the Steven Spielberg disclosure coming out. Bill Clinton says he wouldn't be surprised if someday we were visited by aliens from outer space. Democratic presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton said, "Shouldn't you be getting a blowjob somewhere?" Okay. And we're back. We're back to the stream about learned helplessness. So right there, part of this was our clever demonstration of how Chris told me before the stream he wasn't good at telling stories and telling jokes, and now look at him. He just blew my socks off. Literally blew my socks off with those jokes. That was really fun, man. I had a good time. I really enjoyed.
I'm gonna start doing stand up on the weekends now. So,
here
we go,
dude. But speaking of, let's handle that for a second. Stand up is like. I've done a lot of stuff on stage. Not pissing on folks at a Metallica concert like you mentioned, but I've done a lot of work on stage though. Really, I've done theater. I put on my own rock opera. I've played music. I've done in bands. I've all kinds of things, and even done like small amounts of magic tricks and mentalism with small groups and things like this. And even tarot, when I used to do tarot, I would do sometimes even group stuff, readings. I could command a room or a bar. I would get free drinks for doing that. So I've done a lot of performance type stuff. But when I think about stand-up comedy, and I even researched it a bit, it's terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, and you have to You actually literally you have to walk through a wall of shame and humiliation in order to actually become good at it. Like there's no other way.
Right. I know. I almost
So
want to do it just for that,
I was just gonna
just
say,
as the initiation of.
now imagine if I do it, I'm gonna have to do it in a foreign country in English. Like even if it's gonna come off like the jokes we just read, even if they are coherent and funny, you know what I mean? Like, but
It might
let's
be
have this
easier.
as
That might
our
be easier in a way. Might try, like, maybe
well.
not,
Let's
but
let's let's make a deal. Let's make a deal if you're willing to. Let's make a deal right now. Let's say what is it? So it's June 1st. Why don't we say? And you tell me if you want to make adjustments to this. Let's make a deal. Let's say 6 months enough time to try and even if it's amateur comedy club, whatever, is 6 months enough time to come up with. Let's say that we each have to find a way in front of a crowd to do at least a 5 minute comedy routine that we write. That we it doesn't mean you have to write it yourself. You can put together old jokes, but we have to compose the 5 minutes. Is that a fair challenge? Do you want to do that,
let's do it.
dude? That's cool, man. I can feel it already. It's like that's a little bit terrifying, but I think like why not? What can really happen? I mean, you can't really
Right.
lose it. Well, Detroit, you can get killed, but you get killed going to see a movie or whatever, like look or just looking out your front window. So
Yeah,
God
no.
forbid. But
Got to do it just to overcome the fear, just to say I did it. And because, yeah, why not?
there's a great Cat Williams. I think it's called. It's either American Hustle or it's or Pimpadelic. No, not Pimp. Not Pimpadelic.
His first
It's
couple were
Pimpin'
amazing.
Pimpin'. There's one specific one where he's coaching. It's like juxtaposition of stand-up bits and then him telling young guys how to be a comedian, and it's really cool stuff. Yeah. So there's that. The Cat Williams talking about it, and I don't know. We'll meet up and do that privately. But so let's say sometime around. Hold on, let me. I'm one of those folks with
By the end of
trouble
the year, we'll say that.
with
By the
counting.
end of
Yeah,
the
let's say
year.
by the end of the year, before the end of this year, we will have each done that, and let's say
We'll post it on YouTube.
we will each have somebody. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we're going on 77 minutes. I know you said originally, I don't know if you're pressed for time. If
Yeah,
you
it's
want to
getting kind
give
of late
some.
here, so let's just let's deliver on the promise of if someone's watching this today and they find themselves in the doldrums, in the back rooms, in learned helplessness, what I'll let you answer first, then I'll riff off your answer and give my take on it. I think we're gonna have both pretty similar things, but we got to keep in mind that the person is likely stuck in a persona that has the disinclination to make an effort. So this is the real key. But if they're watching this video and they got to this point in the video, 77 minutes, let's say they've even by doing that alone and being coherent enough to follow us this long, um, that they're willing to take some amount of action to get out of the doldrums, to get out of the learned helplessness. We're going to have to assume that if they got this far. So, Chris,
I'll start because I'm going to give something unrelated in some way. Actually, it's kind of directly related, but it might seem unrelated. And I
Chris
know
is like,
it might be.
take mushrooms, right? No.
Yeah, exactly. No, you have. I'm gonna say it's one word. One word. The word is play.
Ooh.
Play. To learn how to play again, which is something adults struggle with. I still struggle with. Requires that there is no goal. So there is no effort necessary to play again. Spontaneous play. There's no goal. It's to literally to have fun. It's to be creative, right? So if you can discover that state by letting go of all, really shutting out the world and turning off all the expectations of the world and anything that, and just try to find something that you enjoy again and try to play again. And maybe not a video game, but something that involves your body, actually, that requires movement of the body and the mind together. Something, pickleball, going something that gets you moving again with your mind, but that's playful and there's no expectations or goal involved. I'll throw that out there.
I will accentuate that by there's this guy. I think he died. Bernie DeKoven. Bernie's a cool name, by the way. Bernie DeKoven has a website. I believe it's someone still maintaining it. I think he died. God rest his soul. Bernie DeKoven, Deep Fun. Let me find the website and I'll put it in the description. Yeah, it was Deep Fun. It was deepfun.com. Let's see if it still exists. And there's even, he wrote, oh yeah, he did die. He was an American game designer, author, lecturer, and self-described fun theorist. I had on the Radical Undoing blog. There's an old article I wrote called "The War on Fun." I was playing on the war on Christmas. Remember when the conservatives used to have slightly more of a platform and balls, and they were saying that there was a war against Christmas because people were saying Happy Holidays stuff. So I saw it. So I played off that and said the war against fun. There's a war against fun.
Mm-hmm.
And there truly is, because I put up something on Quora, like I said, what's preventing you from having fun all the time, even while you're doing tasks and things that you don't like? What's preventing you? And then it was filled with all these answers, like, you can't have fun all the time, man. Then you wouldn't even know what fun is, and like all these ways of justifying their own mediocrity and suffering. And that suffering is overlaid on top of the fucking task that you're doing that's difficult, that you don't like doing. So my counterpoint was, no, if you have a mind and you have an ability to use reason, you could tell yourself anything you want about, like, filling out forms or doing tedious work, tedious repetitive work. I've known people that had tedious repetitive jobs. For example, the example I like to use is a clerk at Walgreens. He worked there. I hope he's still alive, but he worked there. When I met him, he was in his 60s. And you go to that Walgreens, it was a giant warehouse, Walgreens, and he was so awesome, so much fun to be around, that you'd go in, and when he was working, people were lining up to go through his register instead of going through the lines that had nobody in them. Can you believe that shit? And he found his place, and he never wanted to do anything else, man. It's making me feel excited and like almost on the verge of like tears, thinking of how awesome and happy this guy was. He probably saved people's lives who went through his line, dude. He would call you out if you were having a bad day, Yeah. But not in a way that you would be lifted up. So people would go to Walgreens just to see him. And he was even sad when they were moving from the old building to the brand new building, because he was like, no, there's nothing wrong with this old building. You know what I mean? Like, he was sad in a fun way. So he was doing a tedious job, but having absolute fun all the time, the time. So that's what I identified as the war against fun, and that's an aspect of the fake suffering. We all have to do tedious tasks, okay? That's it. What's wrong? And there's what's wrong with them? Have you ever stopped to think, why is it wrong that you have to do tedious tasks? Maybe the challenge is have some fun while you're doing it. You're the one, like the movie Life is Beautiful, propaganda, by the way, but still an awesome film. The heart of the story is true. It's a guy in a concentration camp protecting his child, who's also in the concentration camp, by telling his kid that they're part of a game, that they're part of a play. All the way to the point of his death, spoiler alert, to the point of the father's death, he keeps the son protected by making the son believe that even the father's death was part of the game. The movie Life is Beautiful. Can you believe? Did you see that film?
I haven't actually seen it. No.
I just blew it for you, but it's still the journey is the point of the film, dude.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable. It's John Lurie, not John Lurie. The other guy that's part of that trio, the Tom Waits, John Lurie. What's the other guy? James Jarmusch, and Life is Beautiful. Excellent film. I'm not a fan of that kind of propaganda, but that's Roberto Benigni. Roberto Benigni, John Lurie, Jim Jarmusch, that whole cast of directors and stuff. In 1997, dude. Italian period comedy drama, written, directed, and starring Roberto Benigni, who co-wrote the film with Vincenzo Cerami.
Very good.
Really
So
fucking
that's it.
cool, man.
Gamify your life. Gamify your life.
Video games saved my life. I can chart it back to Super Mario Brothers 2 and Legend of Zelda, which I received like the Ace of Cups from my Uncle Bill at my birthday. Dude, I can see the color of the carpet in my room when I opened the package, and it was the only fucking, all the Nintendo games were this big. They're about this big, and they were gray plastic, the
Oh, I
original
know.
Nintendo
Oh,
Entertainment
yeah.
System. And when I opened
yeah.
Zelda, it was
Oh, yeah.
sparkling gold, man.
Of
And you
course
put
it
it in,
was.
and all the other games were like jump and climb these platforms, ding, ding, ding. And you put in Zelda, and it was like, boom, you're in a different world. My hair stands on end talking about it right now. I remember calling friends, dude, did you find the bush? If you burn the bush that's on the screen, 3 screens over from the mountains, it opens up a hole in the ground. There's a fucking hole, and the sword's in there. You know what I mean? Like, dude. Meanwhile, I'm in the doldrums of the public education system, and during the day, all my mind was running through Zelda. Dude, it
Hell
saved my
yeah.
fucking life, dude. It saved my life. Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, saved my life. I was running those. I was like thinking of where I was going to go in the game when I got home. Willow, the game Willow, also. But anyway, games. So this is the problem, though. Those games where you buy the game once and then you own it and you can play it a million times. Now they're trying to kill that type of gaming, and they even linked it to Jeffrey Epstein uh, by microtransactions. The game isn't even about fun anymore. It's a psychological dopamine drip for you, where you always feel frustrated and upset and never even get to satiety. It's like you're like, you have to buy it just to get to the next place where you buy another thing. You don't even get anything out of it. And meanwhile, yeah. Anyway, let's not go too deep into that fucking rabbit hole. But anyway, so deep fun based on, I think Chris, your answer was fucking solid, dude. You nailed it. Is go straight to play. Now a lot of people think, oh, I can't play music. No. You're not a master of music. You might never be a virtuoso, although you could become one if you didn't have learned helplessness. You could literally become a virtuoso. I just saw today Eric Andre, the fucking retarded comedian, not literally retarded, colloquially. Hopefully, we could say that word. Shout
I
out
think
to
we
my
got it
Down
back.
syndrome. Shout out to my Downs friends, who I actually love. They're the masters of fun, are they not?
They're the masters.
They
Truly.
are, though. I mean that in all seriousness.
No. Yeah.
I mean, God bless them, man. So, deep fun. So, yeah, deep fun, deepfun.com. Let's just make sure it works. Last time I checked, it did work. It does still work. Okay, great. Deep Fun is full of games you can play by yourself, games you can play with other people, and it's a lot of physical games and like really interesting cognitive experiments and stuff like this. Chris, let's do a stream. Just let's make a note. Let's do a stream where we just go to the Deep Fun website and then try out some of the partner games. And bookmark this. Is great for working with clients and stuff, dude. Deepfun.com. My friend Claude Needham, the one who wrote Just Because Club and all that stuff, he's the one who turned me on to Deep Fun and Bernie DeCove, and they met them. He met them at a gaming conference.
Funny games.
So yeah, funny games for the many, funny games for the slightly less many, funny games for one or two or a few more, games with toys, playlists. So Deep Fun is a good place to start to get out of the learned helplessness. But to finish the point, there was a time I was wandering around in Zagreb. There may have been a little bit of whiskey at breakfast involved. Who's to say? But I would wander around with this little guitar, this little tiny guitar that I still have, and I would wander. I got this in Lisbon in 2019, and I would wander around with that. And if someone mentioned it, so I'd go to the cafes and restaurants that I really liked. And if I was doing non-volitional walks, where that was an aspect of some of the radical undoing training, non-volitional walks, where if you have any inclination to go a certain direction or to go to a certain place, you subvert it and go somewhere else and just keep non-volitionaling. So your volition is to be non-volitional. Isn't that funny? And I can hear like the philo bros telling me like, oh, that's a contradiction. Well, no, but if you go, it's only a contradiction in your mind. But when you're out doing it, you'll see that it's a real thing you can do. So fuck off. But do you ever like tell the fake enemies in your head to fuck off, like I just did?
Yeah.
That's another way out of the learned helplessness. No, fuck you. I'm going to do it anyway. So I took this guitar, and what my gambit was if someone mentioned the guitar, like some stranger, I would then take it out and force them to try to play it. And specific example, one woman was like, "Oh, is that a guitar?" As I'm walking by, like, why are you talking to some stranger about what's on his back, right? So my assumption was, if they're mentioning it, they had something was important to them about music or about guitars, Otherwise, why would they mention it? So I said, "Yeah, it is a guitar. Can I hang out with you guys for a second?" "Yeah." I said, "You want to try an experiment? You want to learn guitar, don't you?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, why didn't you? What's going on?" She's like, "Well," and she got really sad, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is deep." Oh, well, my dad was a musician, and I was always embarrassed because I wasn't as good as him. And so she said, I said, look, it's called play guitar. It's called play guitar. Do you understand what play? Yeah, yeah, okay. So it means there's no standard by which you can even measure. So how could you do it wrong? Well, but my dad, there was so much pressure to learn it, and he was doing the classical thing, and then so basically her dad fucked her ability to learn guitar by creating a standard before she even had a chance to touch the instrument. So I said, look, the tears are coming to her eyes at this point. I said, look, I took out the guitar. I go, look, hold on. I said, can we do an experiment? She says, yeah. I said, okay, look. Will you give me 60 seconds? And she says, yeah. I said, I'm gonna teach you you do everything I say. I'm gonna teach you how to play the guitar, not master it, not sound good, not any of that, but I'm gonna teach you how to play guitar in 60 seconds. And from today forward, you'll be able to go get a guitar and you'll be able to play. And from there you can build on it. Do you agree? And she said, yeah, I agree. So I took out the guitar and I handed it to her. I put it in her hands. And then I said, okay, I set the timer on my phone, and then I clicked go, put it in her hands, and I chose A minor because it's a really fun chord. So I said, okay, give me your finger. I actually literally put her finger there, put another finger there, and put another finger there. This is A minor. It's very simple. You can see it right here. This string, this string, this string, and this string. So I just took her fingers, put them on the guitar, and I said, okay, take the other hand and just use your fingernails and go like this. And I said, just make a rhythm out of it, whatever rhythm you want. So she's going like this. And I said, now just play one string at a time. And I said, now just make some sounds with your mouth. We're going to sing too. She's like, oh, you know what I mean? That's it. And the minute was already over, and she's tears streaming down her face, dude.
Nice.
And she said, I'm going to go get a guitar. So,
and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. And join Garrett Summerland to learn. No, I'm kidding. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Well, your mic is frying. Your mic is frying. Press mute. No, this is a good time to end. Let's end it here. But press
really
mic.
Good,
press mic, and then. It's like roboting, but not because of internet. Your stream is fine.
So my voice is robotic. Yours was in my headphones for a minute, and then yours fixed, and now you're saying mine is messed up, huh?
Oh, is mine still roboting or no?
No, it's good now.
Oh, maybe it's my headphones. Let me try turning them off.
Try saying something now.
Hey.
Still roboting. Okay, well then I will say what Chris said. This is a perfect time to end. No need to belabor the point. Okay, folks. So that's the point. It's that easy. What I just said about the guitar, if you're seeing that inside your mind, if and you think that you couldn't do that, you can literally do what I just said. Look up what an A minor chord is, put your fingers on there, and once you've done that, Now you can go search for what other chords are. Now you know how it feels in your hands. You can search, how do I properly hold the guitar? You can build on that one fucking foundation of play and go as far into it as you want. There's some of my favorite musicians. Bonnie Prince Billy has a song that's one chord. That's it, and it's a great song.
You just remind me of all the great ways I actually taught my things on YouTube and even got a job teaching Tai Chi and Qigong because I taught myself the whole system from online. Maybe I shouldn't have been teaching it, but I did it anyways. And so there's so many opportunities. We just open our eyes and stop having these false expectations. And
I wonder what it is. Turn off the headphones. Let's just see if it's the mic of the headphones. Maybe the battery's coming down, dying on the headphones.
If I had my case, I could put them in and take them back out. It would probably work. But
no, just use your phone mic. Just turn off the headphones. Is there a way to mic?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still roboting. So I will say what you just said. So Chris said that's one of the ways that he got into teaching Tai Chi. Oh, say it again.
I said, well, perhaps that's the sign of time to end.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so say the last piece that you said about the Tai Chi and stuff. Yeah, no, it's fine. Perfect.
That I went and learned a whole system of Tai Chi and Qigong and literally got a job teaching it. So point is that, like Garrett just pointed out, learn something, that you can learn anything. You can create your own and then create a job out of it, create anything out of it, or just do it for fun. Just learn to play, like Garrett just taught us. So
isn't it funny?
In fact, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go get a guitar because I have a guitar and I suck. I don't know how to play it. And you just inspired me to take it seriously and go and do it.
Deep.
I do it with my flute though.
Nice. Yeah. Anyway. Play something quick. Just play a little thing.
Let's see.
Dude, that sounds nice.
It's a double flute.
I was just going to say, why does it sound like there's two? That's crazy. Wow.
It's dope.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. This is awesome. This is an awesome stream, dude. Thank you. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too, man.
Okay. I'm going to hang up on the stream. And Chris, I'm going to give you a ring right after this. But folks, if you're just catching the end of the stream, if you just dropped in, please make sure to like, subscribe, share, go door to door and tell people about the channels and about Chris's Substack, becominghuman25.substack.com. Get signed up at radicalundoing.com for the email list. The launch of Summerland. I'm going to announce it right here. The first day of summer 2026 will be the Summerland grand opening. But if you want to find out more and be a part of it and get 30 days of deep, amazing, fun training for free, you're going to have to sign up at radicalundoing.com. And Chris is going to be a part of that grand opening, whether he knows it or not, whether he agrees or not. Chris, I love you, bro. God bless you. And yeah, thanks for the stream.
You too, man. See you guys next week. See you next week. Peace.